Right, welcome to the Note in the Silence podcast, the number one podcast for music news.
Hello.
Today I am here with Ben again. It's a pleasure to have you back on.
Thank you. You'll have to forgive my grogginess. I woke up half an hour ago.
I'm not gonna lie, if my alarm didn't go off this morning, I would have been in the same position.
I slept through mine. I heard it go off in my dream, and I was like, I should wake up, but my brain wouldn't let me.
That's always the way, isn't
it? Weird ass dream, though. No, I'm not going to get into it. Anyway.
Right, before we get onto any topics, I've got a little bit of a rant.
Always a good start.
So, this week for me has possibly been my unluckiest week.
How so?
So, on Monday, Monday was the only day where something hasn't gone wrong. So, on Tuesday, I went out for a drive.
That's
right. So,
yeah. Sorry, I've got until 3 o'clock latest because then I got to get ready for work. But
yeah, that's fine. Right.
Proceed.
So, obviously, I think I got to Tuesday, didn't I? Yeah, I just started saying about Tuesday. So, on Tuesday, as you know, I went for a drive. And, well, that didn't go to plan, did it? And ended up driving along. I looked behind, all of a sudden there was a bit of smoke. So I turned around to my mum, who was in the car with me, and was like, I think we're smoking. She turned around, had a look at it, and was like, oh, might not be. Carry on. Got to a traffic light, stopped, and all of a sudden this cloud of smoke just went in front then. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. So then I was like, I'll just pull over at the next available bit. Pulled over, and oh my god, did it smell. Like, I was about 10 seconds of being near it from throwing up.
Always a good way to go. If you're gonna die, you might as well die via toxic car fumes.
Yeah, so we called recovery. Bearing in mind we were stuck, like, as you saw from the photo, stuck right outside the pub. Like, a couple days before they actually opened as well.
Couldn't even go in for a drink and wait.
Exactly. Admittedly, it was a shithole pub, but
a shithole pub is better than no.
Exactly. And then we saw all these kids going back and forwards with fish and chips as well for their lunch. And it was just like, we're stuck on the side of the road. I had my wallet on me, but I wasn't walking 200 metres down the road just to get some fish and chips. So we got towed back to Peugeot, and then we got a park and ride ticket. Now, we didn't go there thinking that we were going to get the bus.
Right.
So I suddenly turned to my mum and went, I swear we're supposed to have masks now on buses.
Yeah, I mean, you should do, really, but it was an emergency. Yeah. Not a lot you can do.
It was lucky that my mum didn't panic and always has at least 2 spare in her bag, because otherwise I would have been getting on no bus. I would have had at least an hour walk into the centre. And then an hour bus journey from there. Yeah. And best thing of all, literally just got on the bus and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, I need a shit. So the whole way there, I was like, I was not having a good time. Got back, checked my email from the distributor. They've messed up the settings for the album, so it's still not out, even though it should have been out yesterday.
Business, baby.
Actually, no, it shouldn't even have been out yesterday. It should have been out on the day or the day after I got the email. Then Wednesday, I try recording a podcast episode with Callum using OBS, as you do, because he doesn't have a mic to record himself. So I thought, fuck it, I'll just record my whole screen and then I can add a face cam in, just to switch it up a bit.
Just spice it up a little.
Yeah, so finished recording, clicked stop recording, and then for some reason it was just staying on the stopping recording bit on OBS. So I was like, oh, I'll click it, see what happens. It only fucking recorded half an hour of it. So now I've just come off a bad day into Wednesday that I thought was going to be a lot better, and then that happens. So now
even more.
Yeah, now I'm pissed. I go into Thursday, and I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go on my Xbox and stream on Twitch. So I start streaming. It's going well. I've got, do you remember Jordan?
I believe so.
Yeah, the really tall one with ginger hair, like sun colour ginger, yeah. And then Stuart, they're in the party, so their audio's included. Then all of a sudden, Stuart says, Jordan scream obscenities. What word do you think he comes out with?
Many come to mind, but one in particular.
Yeah, the one that will cause the most upset currently. That's exactly what he comes out with. So then I'm suddenly waiting for my stream to shut down and for my account to be terminated. Luckily it didn't happen because there wasn't anyone watching. But I got a warning.
That.
Yeah. So then I got the VOD afterwards, put it straight on YouTube as private, and then I thought, fuck, how am I gonna get away with this one? Then I remembered there's a YouTube editor, isn't there?
Yeah.
So I just quickly cut out with that, and now my problem is resolved. And I'm still waiting for my reviewer to look through it to see if he feels it's still alright to go out. Because I slate a lot of people in it, as I do with everything I do. Yeah, so then Friday comes around. Friday was pretty good. Other than so on Friday have you heard of a game called Age of Empires?
It rings a bell.
Yeah, it's like a strategy game. It's really, really fucking good. So I always go on every Friday Friday evening with my brother and his mates. My brother was out doing something, so it was just me and his mates. I get disconnected from my game halfway through because it crashes. It was going pretty good until then. So then on Saturday I thought, you know what? I'm angry. It's a perfect time to record a song. Perfect time. I'm filled with anger. I make my best stuff when I'm angry. So I got up the software I use, which is the same software I'm using to record this, Adobe Audition. Crashes 3 times.
You don't seem to be having the best of luck, and something tells me it gets even worse.
So now I'm fuming. And I then record the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And by now I found out what was wrong with the car. So do you know there's like this AdBlue thing that they have in some cars? It's more like add shit, but that's what they call it. So it was the injector of that going wrong. Now, in my mind, I was going, if the injectors don't work properly, why have it in the car?
Mm-hmm. But I mean, anything in a car can break, so...
Yeah, exactly.
Take everything out, you don't have a car.
I was like, I'll just let my mum deal with that, because it's her car. I'll just let her deal with all of that, and I'll just deal with my shit. So then, I'd finished recording that, or I'd finished recording the song. I'd mastered it myself. I'd done, because normally if I was going to master something, I'd upload it to a mastering site and someone else would do it. But I found the perfect master, and I'm going to continue using this sound because this master works perfectly for the sound that I was doing for that one I recorded, which you're going to hear during this episode. So then I go on Instagram. Now, usually when I go on Instagram, I'm very happy. Very happy. Because I'm a single man, so you can guess what my feed is like.
Yes.
My feed is absolute filth. Like, normally, either that or it's just music that's recently been released, and I'm like, oh, quality. I'll put that in a, because you get saved categories on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll put that in a saved category for music, and I'll watch that later.
You're a simple man. Simple pleasures, shall we say.
Exactly. So then I go on, and this is the thing that really pissed me off, because this happened yesterday specifically, and Friday as well, and it fucking does my nutting. So, well, I think you've mentioned this American artist before. He's mates with Aiden.
Oh,
I can't.
Denny.
Yeah, I can't remember his name. Yeah. Tell me why when I go on my Instagram and check my stories, because I do look at all the stories of people I follow, even though I just skip through half of them. I do look at all of them. I might miss the occasional one. Tell me why he's uploaded 50 stories promoting something.
Yeah, I will admit I saw the the number of things at the top, and I could not do it.
Like, I have more streams monthly than him, and he's putting 50 stories up promoting. Like, it just rings desperate to me.
But he's working hard.
Yeah, I'll give him credit. He is working incredibly hard, and I think he's got 4 albums waiting to come out now.
Yeah, as far as I'm aware, he's just been, during lockdown, he's been on the album game, just trying to, get them all done, and then I think next year he's just releasing a bunch of singles, I think he said, or it might be the other way around.
Yeah, I've been the same. I've got like at the moment I've only got 2 albums ready to that are ready to go out, but I've got one that I'm releasing. Well, that's supposed to be out now, but will probably be releasing next Tuesday. The other one will be mid-November, like just before the Christmas rush, and then there might be some physicals out with that as well. But I'm not a big fan of physical CDs, if I'm honest, because it's just effort posting them. Plus, I can't get any made that will deliver here at the moment.
Well, I mean,
So
you can pick up, like, at least you used to be able to, you can pick up, like, a thing of, like, 50 CDs, I think, from Tesco. Whack those in a computer, write all of the music onto those, and then write it on the front with Sharpie or something.
yeah,
It's not super flashy, but it gets the point across.
yeah, I do actually have just a stack of like loads of like CDs and DVDs that, well, they're the same thing essentially, aren't they? But
yeah,
like,
I don't actually know if there is a difference between the actual discs themselves.
I think
there
the
is
CD ones only hold 700 megabytes, if I remember, and then DVDs hold like 7 gig. But either way,
like
you can still put music on them, and they do the job. But yeah, to be fair, getting back on topic to I can't remember his name.
Sir Demi.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I've reached out to him for feature. And this was after I'd resolved everything with Aiden.
Yeah.
Like, I personally, I'm like, this was another thing that rubbed me the wrong way with him as well, because he just seems up his own arse about everything. Now I know you've sort of got to be. Like, I put on the front of, like, no one can say anything about my ability to write, because I write the best. My production might not be the best, but my writing is on point. And that I understand you've got to believe you're the best to be able to succeed. But he was like, "Oh, send me some of your things." So I sent him a few things from my current unreleased, like, album, and he was like, it's all right, but I don't feel that the styles are compatible. Admittedly, what I sent him an Afrobeat style one, a drill style one, and just a normal and a grime style one. Admittedly, so he's only seen that.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen from him, his style is like, you know, that kind of, it's quite solidly in the more storytelling aspect of rap, kind of the Midwest sound, is how I describe it anyway.
See, with my drill ones, I very rarely talk about the normal drill subjects, which is chopping people's faces off and stuff like that.
Typical London stuff, you know?
Exactly. I'm normally like, I try and tell a story, and almost, because I'm obviously against all the violence that comes with music. If you have a music beef, it's strictly music. It shouldn't go into people stabbing each other up. It shouldn't.
No,
but
it shouldn't.
Obviously,
but I understand
obviously
how it
does.
Because it's all to do with their way of life, the people they associate with. And yeah.
yeah, so I'm always like, I try and add some sort of story and try to add a bit of the counter argument into why that shouldn't be the case of why that's happening. But I do that in the form of a story most of the time. Some of the times, like if there's something that's on my mind that I'm angry about, I'll just blatantly say, "Oh, I'll do something." But that, like, generally, if I say I'm gonna do something to someone, they've got to have provoked me in quite a bad way. If they've only just like slightly aggravated me, I might do a scheme and say something within the scheme that sort of shows them up a bit. But
No, I know you to be very opinionated. You've got quite strong opinions, but you're by no means violent.
yeah, like I can be if I need to, but I save my aggressive side for those situations where I feel that's the only possible way for me to like get my for me to
get your point across, to kind of
to get my point across, and almost to like if someone's straight up saying they're gonna hit me, the first thing I'm gonna do if they hit me is duck underneath their punch if it's a right hand and do a looping left hook. That's obvious, isn't it? But yeah, so when I reached out to him, he was like, yeah, that he said that. He also then was like, I'll try and find the message, because it was something about clarity of vocals, which I do agree with his point on that.
Although the last song I heard from you, you had improved a lot on that front.
Yeah. So then, let me find it.
I really hope you can't hear my dad shouting about tools in the background.
No, I can't. So I sent him the one of the ones I sent him was "Come From," and he says he can't help but think of the Grinch while listening to that. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And then
I don't know if he's talking about the actual Grinch or this person that Aiden and Alex and I believe Demi had they all had beef with because he was just a massive muppet. I don't know which one he's talking about, to be honest. But
and then
that may be something you have to look into.
He was like, I don't know if you know who that is.
So he was talking about that one.
Who that is, but I know you know Aiden, someone who had a problem with Grinch. I don't actually know who this person is.
That's kind of the point. Nobody does. That's why it was such an issue.
Like, generally, I listen to more like older style or British exclusively. So if there's someone who's small, like a smaller artist who's like in beef with someone, I won't know until it's got at least 1,000 views. Because I always look up. I don't look down necessarily, or I look level to me, so I can help people who are at the same level as me grow. So then, yeah. He says that he sees what I'm doing, and he described it as dope, which I'm guessing that's good.
Yeah.
Like, I've not got, like, in terms of his mentality of, like, the way he looks at music, obviously me and him have totally different tastes. I can tell that from the beginning. Because, do you know, last night he played a beat on his Instagram.
No, I didn't look at it last night.
He played a beat on his Instagram last night. I'm telling you, it was the deadest beat I've ever heard. It was sampled from like some random song that I've never heard of, but the beat was dead. That's just my opinion, because obviously, you know me, I'm more of a UK beat style, so I like the hard 808 in the background that deafens you halfway through.
Well, I imagine that's something that he'll be playing up with some pretty intense vocal work.
Yeah. And then he was like, he was pretty much saying I need to work on a load more stuff before I start collaborating with people. And then, yeah, so he was, I'm not gonna lie, he was respectful. I've, like, normally, if I have a conversation with an American artist, they don't show me the respect that I feel I deserve. Because I think, oh, UK artists aren't as good as the ones in America, but that's just ignorant Americans as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, at least from what I've seen, that's mainly the ones that think UK music is all Ed Sheeran and Stormzy. Like,
yeah, I can never say that he has been disrespectful in any way, because he hasn't. And honestly, I do have a respect for him, for the fact that he's obviously given me a chance and shown me respect. But I think that he is also slightly overgassing how good he is, if I'm honest. Because I've been on, like, yesterday, after I got over all the issues that I got on a call with my management, played him a few of his things, or a few of his, like, like, a few of his features and that, and they were, yeah, let's just say there were a lot of holes picked where he could improve.
But I mean, you can do that with anyone. He pushes out a lot of work. So
yeah, although when you do that, you can also fall in the trap of saying the same shit over and over again, and that was one of the main points that my management made. He does sort of try to push out that much content that he almost does say the same stuff over and over. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There will be people that like that, but it's just not. It doesn't help with replayability.
I think that both of your approach to it is quite different, but I fully reckon that you could see eye to eye on almost everything. Almost.
Yeah. Like, I obviously, I reckon if I reckon me and him are very, very similar. We just operate in totally different circles. Like, and like I've said, I've not got a problem with him. I have a problem with his Instagram stories, because I don't do the mass marketing thing. I put one or two things out, and I don't even say to people, go and do it. I say, go and do it if you want. I don't care whether they do it, because it's not my main form of income.
Well, no, I believe he's playing the social media game, kind of taking like the modern approach to marketing and releasing music, and then taking it even further, because a lot of music nowadays is just, here's a single, market the shit out of it. Here's a single, market the shit out of it. And I think that's kind of his approach to it, because it's a good way of keeping people aware of what you're doing. It's a good way of making sure that you stay in people's minds. And it's just kind of the way things work now.
Yeah, I think it's mainly just the memory size, isn't it?
I think that's kind of, the main thing, but there's so many technical aspects of it. CD holds 650 megs versus 4 to 6 for a DVD. The bumps etched on a DVD surface are roughly 4 times smaller than those on a CD. And on a Blu-ray, it's 10 times more detailed than a CD, which is smaller than a micro.
Yeah. There's quite a lot different then.
And there's a load of technical stuff in here. AFAIK, Redbook, subcodes. Yeah. Too much for me to look at. But
Yeah.
Right. Quite interesting. You look into it.
Yeah, I can't actually remember what we were talking about before.
I mentioned I'm pretty sure, like, despite the fact that you operate differently, you could see eye to eye on almost everything with Demi. And then you said that you operate in separate circles where you do.
Yeah, because I'm guessing he uses a lot of like his own instruments to like make his beats.
I believe he makes them, but I believe it's all digital. Whatever plays anything.
Yeah, so like he uses the stock sounds and just modulates them in some way to make them sound different.
He's got quite a good kind of like workstation set up. So I believe he's got like MIDIs and everything.
Yeah. See, I do a lot of sampling because that's me coming from a grind background. That's the main thing I was taught to do to begin with. So I think I've taken over 1,000 samples, but from different bits, mainly from Garage, if I'm honest, because I like their drum patterns. Yeah. Right. Enough of the ranting. Let's get into the topic of the episode, which is labels, and this is going to be more like a change my mind style. So,
well, we'll see if we have the same opinion on it first.
Yeah, my opinion is labels are useless if you know what you're doing, but they can be a good place to learn the skills and get your name out there.
I suppose it really depends. I would say it's dependent on the kind of approach that you're taking to it. Like if you do know what you're doing and you're going to completely shun a label, then I'm pretty sure that you're going to have to know what you're doing, start to finish, top to bottom, all the way through, you know, recording, actually making it, the distribution, production, all of that, the marketing, booking, all of the legal stuff, you know, crew, cleanup, absolutely everything.
Yeah. So when I say labels, I don't mean like managers, because managers are a separate thing. Like, for example, I'm technically not signed to a label, but I have a manager. In fact, I have 3 currently.
Right, that seems like overkill.
I have one strictly for marketing, one for the authorization of publishing, and one for features.
Fair enough.
So, actually, to be fair, probably would have been a good thing to mention during my rant that I wasn't actually the one that messaged Demi about it. It was my manager.
Ah, alright.
Yeah, it was just someone on my
So,
behalf.
I must admit, managers, I'm not overly keen on that aspect of it.
I wasn't before I got one. Because at the end of the day, the managers do work for you. So if, let's say, there's something that you can't quite like do just on your own, you could get like a manager to do it, and then you'd essentially be sorted for doing like for all of that, and there would be nothing that like you can strictly focus on the creative aspect of it, which is why I've got hundreds of instrumentals ready and hundreds of like notes pages of lyrics ready, and not enough days to record it all.
So I kind of, all of everything I've ever seen about music managers, like, you know, like actually like handling art and whatnot, is it just seems like it's an easier way of doing everything that you could have done anyway. Like, not necessarily just that, you know, like distribution, marketing, and all that. It's like literally just, hey, could you go to this person and tell them something that I could have told them myself anyway? That's a very, very simplified version of it. That's kind of my, I don't want to say experience. I don't actually have hands-on experience with it, but that's kind of everything I've seen about it.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from with that.
The only advantage is that they have the label of manager, so people are more likely to go, yes, this is a business thing, instead of the artist wants this.
Yeah, like that's the reason why I didn't go for like the typical managers, which are like all corporate and everything. The people who I have as managers grew up around where I grew up. So they understand like where where the music is coming from and where I want it to end up. They like my manager works with the same manager as, I think it's I've forgotten the name. Someone who's prolific in like who's from the same area that I'm from.
Hmm.
Like, they're prolifically known for being, like, very good at what they do. I should really know who it is because I listen to a lot of their music, but it's slipped my mind at the moment.
It's kind of the way it is now. You slap it on your Spotify if you like it, and it comes up.
Yeah,
But, I mean, at least you've got that connection.
yeah. Like, it really helps with getting features as well. Even though I don't really need, I don't feel I really need features for my stuff to stand like and be recognised as its like own stuff. But sometimes they do just help.
Well, I mean, I suppose that kind of goes back to what I was saying about kind of the way modern music is. A lot of it is also features. It's it can go one of two ways. Either very insidious, like it's very pushed by the labels to promote their own artists and to get more music out by their artists. But on the other hand, it's also a really good way of supporting each other and helping to like kind of push each other's music.
Yeah. Like I'm not sure how much of this I can actually say, but I've got a feature that's coming out after my album that like this person I'll try and find uh his YouTube. Um well I'll try and find his numbers. So
I mean, just go ahead and send me the link to the channel. Give me the inside scoop.
yeah, so I'll send you a link to I'll send it directly to you. That's
It's come up on that. Oh, please don't hear the sound bands. Just
like you can tell just from his sound that he's very, very good.
I won't say any names or anything, but that is a name.
Yeah. Like he's offering like he doesn't charge for any features. Like he only
Fucking cool
admittedly
album.
he only does hooks. He only does hooks, but if you email him, he'll literally like he gives out beats with them as well.
Mm.
Like I emailed him being like, "Oh, I really like your stuff. Do you wanna collab?" And it was like, "Oh, here's a beat and a chorus."
Mm. Oh, I've got it.
Like I haven't heard anyone like him really. He sounds, admittedly, he does sound a bit like Travis Scott in some, and in the one I've got with him, he really does sound like Travis Scott. But like I really think it's good what I've done. Admittedly, it's overloaded with auto tune because that's the style of it.
Mm.
But it's like I don't know how I managed to pull it off, or how my managers managed to pull it off. To be fair, I could have pulled that one off. I wouldn't have needed them for that because that would have just been as easy as sending an email.
Got some quite decent numbers on these.
Yeah,
think this one's the highest. So I'll give this one a listen. Ooh, hello. I wasn't expecting the little left to right or right to left. I couldn't quite make it out, but it was
he
a little.
does that a lot.
It's like a little, like, kind of not a full pan, but like a kind of like a wobbling pan.
Yeah, that's like the most common feature of what he does in his style.
A really simple thing, but I just wasn't expecting it there, so it works quite well.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's always the most lyrical, but it's not always needed.
Well, I mean, just from the first 16 seconds of what I heard there, it didn't sound like it was going to be very lyrical, admittedly, but
yeah, I can assure you what I've done is
I'm sure there's
extremely lyrical.
Looking at the some of his statistics, that his like monthly listeners aren't very high, but for some reason he seems to have quite a lot in, I want to say Germany, but it's got it down as DE, so they're trying to say Deutschland.
Yeah.
But that is definitely Germany. Stuttgart, Berlin, Munich.
Yeah, so on the feature, literally the whole second verse that I do is alliteration, the whole thing. There might be the odd word that doesn't fit in that, but I also use multiple languages throughout it as well. And rhyme, so I rhyme the multiple languages with the English and with each other. It's like it's like and it's fast as well. So it's not double or technically like my other one, which is quadruple time, but it's fast enough to the point where I struggled to get it out the first time.
No, that'll be interesting. Is the next album, is it just the one album, or have you got like a set of albums?
So at the moment I'm working on my second one.
Right.
So the first one that should be out now but isn't, it will most likely be out next Tuesday, is like, that's the one I've recorded since the start of lockdown, and a bit before. So there's some in there that are really old, but others that are like relatively new.
So it'll be a good mix. It'll be a nice way of, I guess, easing into what will hopefully be a significant progression in terms of quality and experience. I mean, if you're going from album to album, you know, it sounds like you've had a lot of ideas and a lot of time to work on them.
Yeah, I mean, if I want to, if I really wanted to, I could knock out an album in a week. Very easily, very easily. Like, let's say if I was having 20-hour working days, I could.
Nobody wants
that. Nah, that I normally dedicate 2 days a week to working on it. So in 2 days, I normally do one song per day. But then I go back on it and edit it with what's needed. So far, like, I haven't actually needed to go back and edit anything. I should have really edited the one I did on the podcast with Ellis, because if I did a few edits to it, it would actually sound good. But then that would have involved, yeah, it just wasn't worth it. It wasn't a savable one.
But you do have that as a. Oh God, hang on. Nope.
Is it just gone on to the next one?
No, sorry, I was about to sneeze.
Oh,
it's gone now. Yeah, you've
something
then got
about
that as a backup should you need like an extra song, or if you need
I mean that one's on the latest unreleased one.
Ah, right.
It's a filler really, I think.
See, I think filler is. I think it's okay to have filler songs and things. Like
that is literally the only one on the whole thing.
I think it's okay to have filler songs. A lot of people look down on them, especially like people within like heavier rock community.
Yeah.
Kind of fillers are heavily looked down, but I think they're fine. If they're this, they may not have the same impact as the, I guess, non-filler songs, but so long as they're of the same quality, then you know. Do you see what I mean?
Yeah, I'd say in terms of quality, like it's ever so slightly lower, but my quality's overall not entirely the best anyway at the moment. Because obviously I have limited resources, so at the moment it's the best it can be with the resources I have. But I'm like, that's why in a way with the label side, or getting back onto the topic of labels, if I was offered the right deal, I would have to accept it. Just because then I would have enough money from it to, let's say, go in a studio. And like then I could then invest it in my own equipment. So then I don't have to have a studio. I can just wake up, sit straight at my desk and start.
See, I was almost tempted to actually try looking into building a small studio. I'm not so good on the technical kind of mixing, mastering aspect of it, but when it comes to actual hardware, you know, computers, microphones, amplifiers, pianos, when it comes to that aspect of it, I've got all of the knowledge that I would need to build a studio, you know, with some proper preamps and like, oh god, what's the thing? I've forgotten the word. Tape, with some like some proper tape. I know it's not done on tape anymore, but I love the kind of effects you can get from tape. If you use it sparingly, not, you know, don't do everything tape, but if you say like do your backing track, not like your backing vocals, like if your backing vocals aren't very prominent and you do tape, it can give it this kind of quality that's quite nice.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was me going into it a bit too much, but the kind of point I was trying to make is, I've been looking into it. If you need it, then it's a possibility. Could happen. See if I can hire an audio engineer
Yeah. So I'm actually all right with the mixing, mixing and mastering side of it.
Hmm.
I generally don't have an issue with that, but it's more the beat making side of it and uh the the marketing side, because at the moment I don't have a dedicated, let's say, Instagram for my music.
Hmm.
So that's one thing I do need to work on. Um, I'm literally just finding out the cheapest, like the cheapest recording studio cost at the moment. So from what I've found, I couldn't find the prices of the local ones,
Right.
but I have found the one that will be closest to me when I finally make my move
Hmm.
back to my hometown, and they have different packages with it.
Hmm.
So the one that most people like, you have to pay to be able to join this collective. It's
Right.
like a collective one, so it's almost like a record label.
Sounds
So
quite snazzy and exclusive.
yeah, I'll just send you a link to it.
Let's have a look. See.
So this label
Does appear
slash
to be
studio
London.
has worked with a 16-year-old Stormzy, and they have connections with GRM Daily. So this would be my most likely one to choose. But then you look at the price.
Literally the first thing you see when you go onto their page.
It's 10 grand.
Wait, what? Where? Hang on a minute. Let me scroll to the bottom.
Scroll down to the bottom.
Sweet mother of God.
Look at what you get from that though. You get the lot.
Let's have a look. So just between gold and platinum, like, I mean, I suppose it
You
is
pretty
8
much
weeks of
you don't get
dead.
the video and everything.
Yeah, I mean,
But with
you get
the
video,
right team around you to
photography,
begin
and
with,
styling, mastering, songwriting, brand development, career plan design. Actually, the more I look at it, it does look like it's 10 grand.
yeah. But that's the thing, you can do all of that yourself
You can,
if you know the right people.
but from what I'm seeing, this
Yeah.
does seem to be worth the money.
See, this is something that I'm eventually gonna try and look into.
I do actually
Or,
recognise a few of
yeah.
these names on
Yeah,
here.
there's
Jay Sean rings a bell.
yeah,
Boyardee, Cassius Henry, someone from the Black Eyed Peas,
Lethal Beat,
Lethal B,
Dot
yeah,
Rotten.
Wiley.
Yeah, Wiley.
He has worked with a lot of people. Admittedly, these photos of them are awful, but he's worked
Yeah.
with them, so.
Yeah. So then, like, there's actually, tell you what, I'll just share my screen. That's a way of doing it.
Okay, so I've just had a look at the silver one. 2 hours studio time, 1 hour recording, 1 hour editing, mixing, and mastering. There's no way you can do
You
that
essentially
in 1
get
hour.
you essentially get all of that there in the 150 one, but the only difference is you can use one of their free beats with the gold one, and you can get online releases. But
hang on a minute, hold up. Where am I going to?
Yeah. Is the stream not showing up? So with the difference between the silver and gold one is like you get an online release with it, but that's a bit pointless for me.
I mean, you can release it online, so
exactly.
That admittedly you can definitely do on your own.
And you can use one of their free beats.
I mean, yeah, I suppose that's alright. It will be of a high quality. I mean, you can pay 250 quid just for some beats.
Yeah. Right, I'll try and get up one of the other ones.
But no, like, that's hilarious. The first thing you see when you go onto his page is just Drake, Stormzy.
Yeah. Yeah, I just typed in recording studios London. See, this is why it's so expensive. Although, to be fair, I reckon from what I remember, our local one, because I've checked it out before, it's about 300 quid per. You get it for a day though.
Well, I mean, I was looking into some stuff for me and some friends. Well, a while ago, and one of my friends found a few places in Exeter. They're not recording studios; they were more practice spaces.
Yeah, like rehearsal.
Yeah, but in theory, it'd be really easy if you had your own equipment, turn that into a studio, bring a laptop, bring a interface, bring a mic. Basically done. It'll take a while if you only bring one.
Yeah. Right. This will be a interesting one, because this one looks like a bit slightly higher production one.
Only an extra £4 an hour to hire out a piano. Jesus. You would.
Yeah.
I mean, pianos are expensive.
So then, see, I don't think I would particularly need, because I have my producers that I get my beats from, so I wouldn't particularly need the actual instrument side of it. And obviously, I can sample a beat easily. It's more like the just the recording of like the vocals, and maybe a bit of, because they won't use the same software here. So so that's the prices without 20% tax added on.
Well, I mean, looks like they got members rates and things.
Yeah. So it's 154 quid. Wait, that's a rehearsal studio, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you can't actually get the.
Do they not have set times for actually recording?
No idea. But you probably, the standard way of doing it is you probably have to do the rehearsal before you then actually can record it. Right,
I mean,
it's fine.
I don't think that's unheard of.
Like, that's right near a tube station as well.
Whereabouts in London is that?
Um, just north of the
So
river.
I've just noticed there's one like right next to it, Vatican Rehearsal and Recording Studios. The Blue
Where's that?
Studios, the Joint Limited.
Oh yeah.
There's a few in that area actually.
Yeah, you'll find that
SNK Studios.
if I go south of the river, there's 2.
That'll
See,
probably be where you'll be going to, won't it?
That is the only problem with that. Look at where it is. I can't go there.
It's fine, there's a Screwfix round the corner.
If I go there wearing my West Ham shirt, I'm getting the shit kicked out of me.
Don't wear your West Ham shirt then.
They know from the way you act that.
I don't
Oh,
think
there's
they're
2 here.
psychic.
There's 2 right next to each other.
I imagine they're the same building. Like, the same business, just labelled as different things.
Yeah.
One for recording and one for practice. Jesus, they got fucking palm. Wait, that's not...
What?
Actually,
No,
I don't
that's
actually
probably.
think... Yeah, that's not
that's a
London.
stock
That's
photo.
definitely not London. That sky was blue. That is not seen there.
Yeah.
If it's not cloudy, it's smoggy.
Yeah, these probably have studios worldwide. Well,
Yeah,
they definitely
it looks
do.
like a
Peckham.
Peckham. Why do you
Peckham.
want to go to Peckham?
That's not bad. That is north of the river, though. Or at least I think it is.
I mean, it does.
I can't go to that one. That's too far west for me. Once again, too far west. Like, now these ones will be all right, but they're
Drum
probably
shed.
they're lower quality probably because they're in east. All the ones that are more east are generally lower quality.
I mean, it's good to check the studio itself and see what you actually need. Because you can get away with, going with what would generally be considered a lower end studio if they've already got everything that you need. A higher end studio might have all the stuff that you need, but it'll also have a lot more stuff that you don't need. So
I know that studio very well.
that one.
More the area. Have you heard of AJ Tracy?
Yeah, it rings a bell.
That's the studio that he would have used at one point.
Take your cursor off of it so I can have a look at it. That is snazzy. That looks like it's just been built into an atrium or something.
Yeah. That one would be alright.
Is that actually just a boat?
Let's have a look. I think
That
it's built
is sick.
into a boat.
That is incredible. That reminds me of, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Thekla or Tekla, Bristol.
Yeah.
It's probably the best venue I've been to. It is literally in, like, the hull of a boat. And, like, by the time you actually get into the pit, you're underwater.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Do you know what's mad?
But that reminds me of that.
I would need one bus to get there.
Oh shit, that's
If
the Millennium Dome.
If I was staying with my
Yeah,
granddad,
that is,
I would
like-
need one bus to get there.
Yeah, that is like essentially round the corner.
Admittedly, it's going through Kidbrooke and all places like that, and Charlton to get there, but that's pretty good location.
Mm.
In fact, that's an excellent location.
That is an excellent location, and it looks like the perfect place. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I could say that anything is catered towards you because you're primarily on vocals, and then you'll do like, samples and beat making, whatnot. You're not really into instruments, from what
No,
I gather.
I mean, I
But
can
that
like
looks
do
very
keyboard
cozy.
stuff, but
It looks like that's primarily like a kind of like a jazzy, thing. But there's, I mean, look, they even got a picture of a bunch of guitar pedals on. But
yeah, that that's not that one, is it?
yeah, that's it.
Oh,
But yeah, it does look like it's more oriented towards like a kind of jazzy bluesy thing. But it looks very cozy, and I can picture you in there, like huddled up to a mic, just going for it.
yeah. See, I reckon because at the moment I don't even have a pop filter,
I mean,
so
it is recommended for pretty much every single scenario, but you are using the Lyra,
yeah,
and multi like polar pattern condenser mics, USB ones like yours, don't really need it because of just the way they are. Not those.
that I I was actually thinking about having one of them or one like that.
Yeah, that'd be good. If you go onto the video to the right of it,
That one there.
that's the left.
Oh,
Why
yeah.
am I pointing at my screen? You can't see me. Yeah, that one there.
Yeah.
The one at the very front, just under his hand. Do you see that?
That one.
Yeah. That one is the best pop filter I have ever heard in my life.
See, I do have a makeshift pop filter.
Hmm.
You wouldn't think that this works, but I generally use a sock. It's not the best smelling, admittedly, but
That is about as ghetto as it gets.
it does the job a lot of the time.
But no, invest in that one there. It's about 50 quid. But,
Yeah.
it is so thin. It's made out of metal instead of like plastic or foam thing. It is so thin. It does not change the character of your voice at all, like some pop filters do. It
Yeah.
literally just cuts the plosives, and I'm in love with it.
Yeah, see, for me, the most important thing for me would be cutting out the noise of my PC,
Mm.
because my PC is like the loudest thing.
If you want just a stupid simple setup, get really long cables and just put your PC on the other side of the room.
Yeah,
Good cables. You don't want any of that electronic interference nonsense. Get good cables. Spend a bit of money on them. Not too much money, obviously, but just get really long cables and put your PC on the other side of the room. That's the
yeah.
easiest way to do it.
See, what I've thought about doing before is maybe like I usually have my mic, like if I send you a photo
Mm.
of my desk currently, ignore the chocolate orange packets and packets of Cheetos that are there, and the copy of the JME Grime MC album. But
No.
yeah,
I would recommend
yeah,
investing in some Noctua fans. They are the best fans you can buy for PCs. They are spectacular. I don't have them
Yeah.
because I'm a broke bitch and I haven't taken the time to upgrade my PC. But they'll be the ones that I'm getting. They are top of the line, the quietest you can get, and also the highest performance you can get.
Yeah.
So
So
I'd recommend
with
those.
the photo I've sent, the mic while I'm recording is normally right on that left side, right where it starts to get dark,
Mm.
and then it's pointed, so I have to lean to the side slightly, which obviously
Isn't ideal.
yeah, that also explains a lot about why my vocals aren't always the clearest. Because I am having to like majorly lean over to the side and then still try and force whatever's in there out.
Mm.
Although it does work for the really aggressive stuff. Because trying to force something out while being really aggressive is the main focus of it, really. Because while you're like rapping or singing aggressively, you do generally try and force things out.
Mm.
Yeah. Right.
I'm running out of coffee again already. Jesus, I'm going through this way too quick.
Right. I'm just going to go to the toilet again because for some reason, if I have Pepsi Max, this happens.
Yeah, I mean that's standard.
Yeah. And yeah, we'll then try and get back on the topic of labels once I'm back.
We'll try.
Jesus, that feels better after that.
Good.
Right. So yeah, with labels, a possible downside to them, which is why when most labels reach out to me, I am really reluctant, or reach out to my managers, I'm really reluctant about accepting it. It's purely because I've heard so many cases of people being fucked over by them.
Mm.
Like, so many.
I mean, when you sign your life away, essentially, that's pretty easy to get away with.
Yeah. Like, that's why I wouldn't sign exclusively to have all my releases with a label. It would be, let's say, everything I produce within a couple years or something. It would be like three projects or something like that.
Mm.
But then that would be when I take my time with producing them, like, a lot. So then I can then get the most out of the labels. Then in a way, it's me using them rather than them using me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to end up like, let's say, have you heard of an artist called Megan Thee Stallion? She's a prime example of someone who's been fucked over.
Funnily enough, I have not heard of her.
So, do you know? Well, I think you'll have. Do you? I'm guessing you have no. So you don't you don't watch things videos from the app that shall not be mentioned that also is named after a sound that the clock makes.
No. I had it for about a week. I could not be bothered. It was just too much hassle. Didn't like the interface. Didn't like anything that was being shown. I literally only got it so that I could report somebody. And yeah. It's just awful. It really is awful. And as if the fact that it is just blatant Chinese spyware isn't enough, it's now being banned in certain countries. So hopefully it makes its way over here.
Yeah, so essentially her songs are one of the predominant ones that girls dance to on there.
Boy.
And I say girls because mostly it's females. You get the odd man doing it ironically, and it is mostly like because theoretically it's just kids, females that are whores and and
Strong.
people who want to promote themselves in China who are on it. Like that's literally the only way I have any contact with people in China through that. Because my music's banned over there. They have to use a VPN to even access it. And then, even when they've accessed it, a lot of the time it's still classed as illegal what they're doing, so they've essentially broken the law.
I mean, it's not hard to break the law in China.
Exactly. Yeah, so getting back on topic, pretty much
Yes.
Megan Thee Stallion signed this really shit record deal where the label pretty much, because she signed with a label that's owned by another label that's then owned by another label. So I think she gets under 40% of her royalties.
Ow.
And then that's before the managers take their cut.
Which will be what? 10, 20%?
That's no, yeah, 10, 20.
So what? She's only getting like... Yeah, she is probably only getting like 20% of what, what she actually makes from it.
Yeah, I only get like 70% of what I actually make.
But I mean, that's standard.
Yeah. Well, I know Demi gets 100% because he's with DistroKid.
Yeah, well,
anyone,
he does a lot of it himself, and I'm pretty sure he's got some quite clever like releases, and he knows his way around it 'cause he's been doing it for just so many years.
Yeah, so with DistroKid, you pay 20 quid a year or $20 a year, so about 15 quid a year, and you can upload as many things as you want. You have 2 artist profiles, so if I wanted to, I could sign another artist to me, and then I could then take a percentage of whatever they make, and it wouldn't cost me any more than 20 quid or 15 quid. And
which, if they're even only doing alright, still going to make money from.
Yeah. Like, even if they're doing alright, I'll break even.
Yeah.
And then you get 100% of royalties. And I think they all produce, or they all distribute through the same label, essentially. All these distribution sites, but some just take more of a cut than others.
See, what is the label accessibility, I guess, and like the label the label world like for rap and hip hop and all of that? Because I know for more alternative leaning stuff, in the UK it's very healthy at the moment, and very friendly. Like, there's quite a lot of good alternative stuff coming out of the UK, and in America, I mean, like the top of the top for basically any kind of alternative music is Sub Pop. Sub Pop are responsible for releasing some of my favorite albums from like Nirvana and Mudhoney. They are about as high end as it gets for alternative music,
Yeah.
So
See,
what's that kind of like for, rap and hip hop?
in rap, especially grime and more the drill scene, independent is the way to be.
Mm.
So no one would even dream of signing with a label, and if you do sign with a label, you're thought of as sort of not
Bit of a
as
sellout.
well. Yeah, and you're like generally, if you don't bring other people into what you're doing, you're also thought of as bad, and you're excluded from everywhere. So
So
I
sounds friendly.
like, yeah, and then in America, it's the thing is to sign to a label. Although you do get the occasional person like oh, what's his name? But there's Chance the Rapper, independent.
Hmm.
Logic, independent with distribution deals, which distribution deals means technically you would be signed to, it's classed as being signed to a label, but it's not because you still have full creative control.
Yeah, it's basically being assigned to a label without all of the nasty strings.
Yeah. And see, like, people will be surprised to find out that Storms is technically signed to a record label.
Mm.
But he's obviously grown up around the grime scene, so he's seen what other people before him have done, which is why I'm planning on doing a similar thing to what he did, which is where he created his own company and then signed that company to a label.
Fair enough.
So he gets full creative control whilst having the resources of the label to help him like grow his career. Not that it needs growing.
No, I think he's grown about as big as he can get now.
Yeah,
It's more
he
about
peaked
maintaining
with
years.
he peaked with, oh, what song is it? Can't remember what song it is because obviously it's one of those where you just add it because you think it's good and then just don't remember what it is.
Mm.
But it wasn't on his latest album that I feel he peaked.
See,
Although
unless,
I know that's unpopular to say, but
well, I mean, I don't really know anything about his music. I know a few songs, but
yeah, in fact he's the only person I know who turned down a Jay-Z verse.
I mean, from my end, I think I could quite happily do that if I was as him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's just something about Jay-Z doesn't sit right with me.
Yeah, I don't get me wrong, I don't like Jay-Z's music. Personally, it's not for me. This is where I just get cancelled, I'm sure.
But I'm not talking about just the music, it's just him as a person. It's just something about him. He seems like a nice enough guy. Like, I don't think he's like, a predator. I wouldn't be surprised if he is, but
it comes with being a celebrity, doesn't it?
yeah. But no, I wouldn't be surprised if he is, but at least from where I'm sitting, don't really know him too much. I just, I know a bit. I see him every now and then. No, I don't see him, but I see him like on the news and I see him like on social media every now and then, whatnot. But no, it's just
Yeah.
something about him doesn't sit right with me. It's not like his attitude or his business or like I've not got like a kind of like a sixth sense like hang on a minute he's next to Jimmy Savile. It's nothing like that, but something I don't understand. understand it. That's
Yeah.
mainly why I stay away from him, because it's just no. And also, I
I'd
don't like his
say
music. But
the reason that like what Stormzy did could be classed as a bad move is just because that's his way of getting an American audience.
mm,
And at the moment, if you go over to America and ask who's Stormzy, they'll all go who. And eventually, when he gets to the peak of his career in the UK and in Europe, which I feel he has,
mm,
he's going to get to the stage where he wants to branch out into America. But then, because let's say he's turned down a verse from Jay-Z, it will be harder for him.
mm. See, I think that he'll never really be big in America. I feel like he'll do a lot better doing like smaller gigs if he does go to America. You know, for like maybe like a few hundred people instead of a few thousand.
Yeah,
Kind of, like small underground stuff for the people who, for the few Americans that do actually that kind of music, but 99% of Americans like just don't get it.
yeah. Like it, I think they might be able to get it if, like, I know Americans that have been to the UK who were completely ignorant to the grime scene before they came to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
Bearing in mind they're mates of mine, I then took them to a rave and that's all they listen to now. Because like just the rave environment, especially a grime rave, is so aggressive that I don't know a person that hasn't liked the music after going to one.
Mm.
Like that's how I got into it. Someone dragged me along to one, because before you'll be surprised, I only exclusively used to listen to American music before I got pulled along to a grime rave.
Mm. Well, I mean, if you're finding your own kind of tastes in music through the internet, if you're just looking for like rap stuff, then a lot of it is going to be coming from America.
Yeah, I'm talking about the days like before my family could even afford their own house, sort of thing.
Mm.
I'm talking, we shared a house with 2 or 3 other families. We shared one computer between everyone, and my brother took over it because obviously you don't mess with the person who's 2 feet taller than everyone else.
Mm.
And he just put on like 90s rap, like Tupac, Biggie, bit of Nelly,
Mm.
LL Cool J. But that's what I grew up on. And then I experienced the grime rave, and my whole experience changed.
Yeah, see, I would love to go to something like that, but I have a feeling to even be allowed in the building, I have to like cut my hair and change my style.
Yeah, I think you would look slightly out of place there.
Just
No, I mean you do get some people who don't look like the typical grime fans going, but if the closer you get to, let's say, the stage or where the main groups congregate, it's mainly people Adidas, Nike tracksuits,
yeah,
short hair, skin fades, and normally they're gym lads.
yeah.
Yeah,
Maybe I'll just hang around the bar.
I mean the bar there. Well, they don't really have bars. There's the
Whatever.
odd drug dealer that stands by the toilets. That was an interesting experience.
Don't worry, you get that everywhere.
No, I mean, have you ever been at like an event where you have a Coke dealer high off his own product,
Yeah.
trying to sell you his own product whilst like simultaneously trying to stand up and simultaneously trying to pick a fight with someone else?
No, I went to a gig where this guy was like, he looked like a Neanderthal, like monobrow, his mouth hanging open the entire time. And he just kind of waltzes into the middle of this pit, barely able to stand up. You can tell he drank like a whole bottle of vodka or something. And then taken like 2 lines of Coke before even getting to the event. Like, you could tell he was like, he was not conscious, but his legs were still carrying him. He walked straight into the pit and somehow manages to stay up throughout the entire thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some things, and
Yeah. Imagine that, but he's trying to sell you the product.
Yeah. That, but he's also coming up to you like, hey, take that, take this.
Yeah. And
got a tenner, got 50.
Imagine you're only trying to go for a piss.
Yeah.
And you're under the age of 15. What an experience. What an experience.
Best thing to do is just to entertain them, I find.
Yeah, that's what I did. I stood there, had a bit of a chat with him, then just when his back was turned, I just nipped in the toilet.
Probably turn around and sell it to some other kids.
I didn't go into the toilet directly next to him. I went into one that was just down the row a bit, just so, because they start hitting on the door that they're stood outside, because they think you've gone in there and has blanked them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Let's try and get back on topic again.
Is there any other aspect of the label discussion that that you want to make or even inquire about?
I don't think so. I don't know about changing your mind on the idea of labels, because I feel like I'm not really on the other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, I would say we have quite a similar view.
It's similar. I am completely open to the idea of a label, so long as it's the right label, and you make sure that don't just get signed to a label because it's the first one that will take you. Make sure that you get signed to a label because it's one that you agree with, one that makes the kind of music that you want to make.
Yeah, I'm alright with a label as long as it's not Sony.
I think you've got a ways to go.
Yeah. Like United, I'm happy with that. Warner Brothers, I heard good things about them. Yeah. Right. I'd say that it would be a good time to move on to the next section then.
I mean, I was going to say, why not see if you can try and get some grime on Death Row or something?
Oh, Death Row? You think I would sign to Suge Knight's son?
I don't know. I just
Jesus, that's a death sentence.
Fair enough. Actually, yeah. That's if he's anything like his dad, then
you've got to remember, one of their artists was killed, most likely by them, because they were trying to leave their contract. Snoop Dogg said he had a hit on him for a while.
Yeah, I kind of forgot about that for a second there.
Yeah. Right. On
Forget
that
what
note,
I said.
it's yeah. On that note, we're swiftly moving on to the next section.
Indeed.
So the next section is the album review.
Now,
Now,
let's go.
Now, as you missed the actual official episode for it, I'm gonna give you a few extra ones. So there's the ones I said about, and then a few more. We'll start with a few more first, just to just these were all recorded after I'd finished the album. Well, this one was. I haven't actually uploaded the other ones yet.
It's fine, just release them on the deluxe edition.
I'm not having a deluxe edition for this one.
Fair enough.
Right. As you can see, this is the distributor site.
To rearrange some of my windows to fit it. There we are.
Right. As you can see, that's the album stuff. That's all of them. So those are the two singles. That's the one that should be out by now.
Alright.
I don't know why I named it that. I just thought, oh, what's a few years that are probably going to be shit, because it's a dark album. And then I thought, anywhere from now will probably be a bit.
Yeah, now onwards, basically. Just gets worse.
And then I added that bit on the end because the only correction in pitch I use is manual, and that's to add like an effect.
Fair enough. So just give me 2 seconds. My window is closed and my curtains are still like flapping a little bit. Sorry. Wind is mental.
That's not the one we're going to be looking at first, though.
Is that?
No, that's I'm not going to say the place, but it's in between where I am and XR.
Fair enough.
I'm probably going to blur out the word as well, just because it place names are a bit. It's a bit too close for the privacy that I require. That's the reason I don't really live in a city.
One thing about that, the cover, sorry, Womb at the top. I would change the colour of it, change the font, and try and find it in a higher res. It just kind of messes with the eyes a little bit.
Yeah, it's meant to be a bit trippy in a way. And the reason I chose that exact photo, and
I mean it fits.
Yeah, it's also ever so slightly provoking.
I mean, yeah, you put that on a cover, then you're gonna get some people who are gonna come after you.
Yeah, I want people to look at it, think that's annoying, but then they'll listen to it just to see what it actually is, and then they'll realise what it is nothing about what's actually on the cover. And then if I go along to distribution, as you'll see, that's still in the processing bit. Because this is one of the things that's releasing after the album.
Well, that's cool how they've got like all the different sections laid out.
So out of all of these, Chinese, American. Like all of them ones, I can't even access to see when it goes up on them.
I'd be careful with Yandex. It's a little bit dodgy.
Yeah, that's why I'd never try going on to them. I let them send it there.
Yeah, there's a lot of criminal X.
Yeah, they just send it there, and I just let them deal with it. Although these ones I can all access to see if it's on there. Especially Amazon.
Yeah. And any of the ones that are like multinational should be fine.
Yeah.
You know, like Spotify, Amazon, etc.
Right. Oh no, that's the stats for how it's performing. It's not actually released yet, so there won't be any for that. So, if, as you can see, I did pretty much everything for this. Because if I didn't, there would be other names there, but there aren't. And because it's not on Facebook, there's I'm going to show you the song that I was listening to whilst I was actually making, or whilst I was picking the instrumental for this. Have you heard of this artist?
Yeah, I was literally about to say, isn't he dead now? And then I saw, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't it, was it a stroke or an aneurysm or something?
No, he was shot in his house.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of someone else.
Gotta find the actual one now, haven't I? That's the way of doing it.
Well,
Right, that's not the one. I mean, that's a good song. That's not the one, though.
Da-da-dun-da-dun. Oh, pardon me.
Oh, fuck it, I'll just go on this channel.
Yeah. If you know what you're looking for, just type it in. It's a lot quicker.
Of course, it's the first one. Right. So, in my opinion, this is his best song yet. Like, I like his first songs he released, but this is his best one yet. What I'll do is, I'll play it and then I'll just let you listen through the whole thing. Right.
See, I have absolutely no business enjoying, but I really fucking.
Yeah. So, what he's done there is he's stolen part of his hook from a 50 Cent song called Many Men. And essentially half of his hook is lyrics from that song. But it makes sense as 50 Cent's on the album that's part of. And then...
Yes, it's not necessarily just stealing it, it's more of a like a tribute.
Yeah. And then this was obviously recorded months ago. Because, or even, well, it would be months, because his career didn't even last a year before it was cut short. Right, so this, now, mine's completely different to that. Mine's his normal style. But you'll notice I do a lot of the woo sound that he does. Just because, I don't know why. It just sort of felt right.
Alright.
Right, the rest of it's just essentially the instrumental with the odd ad-lib. What do you think of that then?
You've definitely cleared up your vocals a lot more, which is good.
Yeah.
I feel like you still need to project a little bit more.
Yeah.
Not necessarily be louder, but kind of maybe put a little bit more of an inflection on certain parts of it, just to try and emphasize certain points, so that it's not quite as flat. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think the issue might be with that is the fact that I sort of sit on one tone naturally and I can't sort of deviate from that, I find. So that obviously is a limitation, but I am slowly trying that was a completely different EQ type to what I would normally use on that one there, and the mastering was totally different to what I'd normally use.
Yeah.
But
But
it's just a case of tweaking them now, I think.
yeah. But overall, that is definitely a big improvement on, some of your other stuff, like older stuff.
And that's probably the best thing you're going to hear out of everything I'm going to show you. If I'm being honest. There may be one bit that will live up to that standard.
See, when somebody says that, it's usually not a good sign. But the track, like the actual instrumental, was good. I could definitely see the direction that you were taking with it, and while I wasn't listening all too much to the lyrics, I was kind of more listening to the flow of it and how it played with the instrumental. It all worked well together.
Yeah.
So I've got high hopes.
Yeah. Right, this is the album now. Right. Which order do you want me to start in?
Just start to finish.
That's the one from Ellis's episode that I will not be playing.
Alright.
I refuse to even listen to that.
Alright. Start to finish, an album's got a flow. So.
Yeah. And yeah, I can already tell based off the last one, the word that's going to be most commonly used in this is clarity. From what I remember of it, anyway. Right, I'll just start it.
Should I keep that in mind as something to think about, or should I try and avoid it?
Definitely. Right. What's your
It's not what I was
opinions on that?
expecting.
Yeah, I thought I'd start off quite positive and then just gradually work my way down.
It's a very good opener. Like, for an album, that is a very good way to open it.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, I'd say it was pretty strong. Lyrics, kind of the theme, feel of it. I did think the very, very beginning, the kind of like the ooh, sounded a bit more like a moan than a kind of a kind of like a chorus effect.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, overall that was really strong. It was literally just kind of a few bits here and there, which are more things that will improve over time as you get used to kind of, well, not as you get used to it, but as you what I'm looking for.
Get more used to the style.
I suppose just as you improve in general, you know, it's strong. It works as an opening. Not really got anything bad to say about it, other than I'd love to hear a redo of it in like a few years' time, after you've like trained your voice a little bit more to sing in that style.
Yeah. See, I'm like open to remixes if people like have their own studio and they want to like jump on a song of mine. I literally don't mind driving to someone's studio to do a remake with them. But all my remixes have to be in studio, like with the other person. Otherwise, I feel it sort of doesn't turn out quite the same.
No, fair enough.
Yeah. So when Alex was listening to it, he had a trouble understanding what I was saying during the like faster bits of it. Or at least if
I don't think I had any issue with that. It's literally the first time I've listened to the song, so I, don't expect me to be able to recall any lyrics, but if I gave it a few listens, try and memorize the lyrics a little bit better, then I feel like that'd be the only barrier. If I listened to it, I didn't think at any point, what was that? Or I didn't think at any point, okay, I might need to go back to that and listen to it again. It all seemed pretty clear to me.
Yeah, to be fair, that's a common thing that Alex said throughout the whole thing, that he struggled to understand what I was saying. Like there's one bit where I referenced something that one of the things I used to do back when I was purely based in London, and yeah, he totally got the wrong idea of what it was. Like there's what he said, and then there's like, which is something to do with, it's difficult to explain without you actually like listening to that episode.
I'll see if I'm still conscious when I get back from work later, and I'll see if I can go back and give it a listen.
Yeah. Right, are you ready to listen to the next one?
Yeah.
Right.
That was another strong one.
That was the one where he struggled to understand what I said.
I mean, I can see where he's coming from, but I would say that's more to do with the level. I think you might need to quieten down the vocals just ever so slightly.
Yeah,
because it's starting to clip a little bit and starting to get a bit. It's just a little bit too loud.
Yeah, so with this one, I was experimenting with a new software a little bit. So I was using Ableton Live to record this, and with that, it generally makes everything quieter.
Yeah.
So then, like, it makes it ridiculously quiet. So then, when you export it and listen to it, it's a bit of a shock because it suddenly goes about 5 decibels louder. So you almost have to like gauge it with like the sound being a lot quieter than it actually is.
Do you remember what your gain was set at for that one? Like the gain on the mic? or if you
What do you
did it in
mean?
post.
What I did was I had it so I was roughly getting to while recording at about between I think 13 and 10, or minus 13 and minus 10.
All right.
So then I used the master the mastering compress and EQ to get it up.
All right. Uh. Huh. All right then. So yeah, it must just be the volume. I was wondering if you might have had the gain set ever so slightly too high, but yeah, it is just the volume then.
Yeah, Ableton's a very weird software, which is why I only use it to make instrumentals now.
Hmm.
Which is where I got the instrumental for either one of them from.
Okay.
Do you know the garage one I sent you? Or the clip?
Nah, my memory's awful. No.
Right, so yeah, that was a very good instrumental, but I feel like I sort of messed it up slightly with the vocals now thinking about it.
No, not really. I mean, yeah,
No, I mean with the garage instrumental. We'll get to that though. We'll get to that.
that one, right?
Yeah.
But with that one, uh, again, it was really solid. Vocals were fine, other than the volume, but that's something that can be easily like fixed or forgiven. The the bass in there. I was prepared for a certain volume with the kind of soft instrumental that plays at the beginning, and then it really kicks in with that. I really liked it. It worked really well, but it, again, ever so slightly loud. But I just lowered my volume. It was fine. It wasn't really an issue. But again, that was a pretty solid song. It had like a kind of a West Coast bit.
I tell you what, I'll show you the song that's based off. In fact, you've heard the song that's based off. This one. What I'll do is I'll play Rick Ross's verse, which is the actual one I based it off.
Full music video.
I would say this is probably one of the most ambitious music videos that Rick Ross has done.
Was that a World Star bandana? No.
No, that's a Maybach Music logo. Yeah, that's the verse I essentially based that whole song off.
Not gonna lie, I prefer yours.
Really?
Yeah. Yours has just got something to it.
To be fair, I did get like that song is also 100% sampled. Like as in my version of it.
Well, what you did with those.
Yeah, right, so what I did was I added like an extreme reverb to most of it. The like it reverbs out a lot, but it gets quiet very quickly. So then there's always the undertone of what was before, like underneath the current sound, and then I pitched one set of everything down as well. To almost like I think that's why the bass hit so hard.
that might be it. But no, I mean, if you came to me as a, this is obviously a hypothetical situation, but if you came to me and said, "Hey, I want you to release this song," I'd give you the exact same feedback. I'd say, "Yeah, just change the level of these two things, and we're good to go."
Yeah. Right, are you ready for the next one?
Yeah.
So this next one was recorded in the first ever podcast episode.
Right.
Technically, there should be another writer somewhere in there, but Alex didn't want his name mentioned.
Fair enough.
So what I'm gonna do is I need to go to the toilet again because of the coke. So I'm gonna play it, and then by the time I'm back, the song should have ended.
All right.
Right.
Sorry. Because I've decided to sit on my bed to spare my legs, I kind of just have my guitar on my lap, and I kind of just started playing along to it,
Yeah.
and it actually like kind of fit in kind of well.
Yeah. It's got a very very simple melody to it.
Hmm. No, I remember, I think I went onto your Spotify and I saw that one was on there, so I gave it a
Yeah.
listen. And
That was one of the singles that was released.
and that was like the one where I thought, hang on a minute, this new project, these new songs, he's cleared up a lot, which
Yeah.
actually got me quite excited to see like what else he's done. And yeah, while that one it's got that kind of like low, kind of chilled out, repetitive thing going. It works. It's the fourth. I can't say third. Yeah, third song in the album. I think going from the first one, which is a very strong opening, to the second one, which is then another very strong one. Then like slow it right down. Not necessarily in tempo or anything like that, but just in the kind of like feel of it. It's quite chilled out. To then slow it down for number 3 with that works quite well. So as an album, all of these songs work really well together so far.
Yeah.
The first 2 are really strong. Third one, I'm not overly keen on it compared to the others, but I've got nothing against it per se. I don't think I really understand the kind of the reference or the concept.
So the original concept was meant to be, it's like an event is finishing, but you don't want it to finish.
Right.
It's sort of, yeah. It then I got my hands on the verses, and yeah, it sort of went to a different place during that bit. Yeah.
I mean, knowing the concept, yeah, I think that yeah, it all works. I've not really got a lot to say about that one, to be fair. It's just perfectly like fine, nothing really wrong with it song.
Yeah, so it's almost what you'd expect. So the placing of these two is just because they're sort of slower. Obviously, actually, tell you what, I will play this one here, even though I said I wasn't going to because it's awful. I'll play it to you next time I get the feeling I need to go to the toilet, and I'll just have to spend a long 4 minutes in there.
I mean, you could just like skip through it if you like, if you're not really overly keen on it. Give me like the highlights. for the lowlights.
Well, if I said what highlights, that would give an indication.
Fair enough.
Maybe the chorus, but even that's pretty dead. Right, moving on. Now, this, even though it's an interlude, is probably my favourite bit.
I mean, interludes are a good way to kind of set the tone.
So this is where it's supposed to be getting a lot darker, even though the one after it's comedic.
I mean, that works.
But it's
kind of
the
contrast between the two.
Yeah. Right.
I think that's probably the first point where I've gone, I'm not too sure on the vocal. I think it's not necessarily from you personally, but I think it's because you've put some sort of effect on your voice which makes it sound quite muddy.
Yeah, this was I actually looked back at this project file the other day. Well, yesterday, because I listened back to it and thought, wait, there's something not quite right with this. I actually forgot to add an EQ to it. So this has got this has got all of the lows in.
Okay,
yeah.
I guess apart from that, yeah, that's another solid one.
And also all of the highs as well, because I think. Did you hear the bit where it's like a squeaking sound on the S?
I didn't pick up on it, no.
Oh, it's like I think it's where I say the word soul. It's almost like a ridiculously high pitched squealing S sound. And I
didn't pick up on that.
Yeah.
I'll have to give it another listen when it comes out.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like I tried actually solving that at the time. Like I put several DSs on it, targeting different S tones, but it just didn't work. Right. So this next one, my first official feature.
Alright.
So you've seen the episode with George, haven't you?
Which one was that? I think I've seen it.
I think it was the use of auto-tune.
Yes, I've seen it. Don't remember it very well, but I've seen it. So I'm sure you.
So this was made during this one, or during that episode, and it's a. How can I say it without sounding like the softest person anyone's ever met? It's a comedic drill song.
A comedic drill song. This.
Yeah.
Would be interesting.
It goes one of two ways. People either think it's a masterpiece, and because I do a lot of do you know the how can I put it? It's an ad lib where it's like you almost grunt a bit.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
There's a lot of that in it. It's from where I was doing the ad libs and I was meant to be saying something, but I was just getting hyped by the beat. So I was like, ugh, just like really going for it. But I would say for considering this is George's first time of actually doing any sort of like rapping or music, his chorus is pretty good.
Alright, give it a listen.
This is also out as a single, so you might have already heard this one.
I don't think I've heard this one.
Right.
They feel a little bit disjointed. Like, they feel like two different songs.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
feel like you could
I
use
can
his
see what you mean.
voice, definitely, but I don't know.
To be fair, it was recorded with 2 different mics.
Well, that shouldn't really be an issue. A lot of stuff is recorded using different mics.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how he recorded or what equipment he has to record, but it seemed to sound like I put similar effects on my voice to what I put on his, and essentially it sounds completely different.
Mm. Uh, I, I'm not really sure what to say about this.
Yeah, it's definitely unique. That's the only thing I have to describe it. Yeah.
No, yeah,
Right.
overall, just I feel like that one could have used a bit more work. That's all I've really got for that one.
Right. So this one. This one is where it's sort of, I think this one was recorded after the conspiracy theories one,
Alright.
or the rumors of the music industry, because if you put conspiracy in the title, it doesn't usually end well. So yeah, this once again is one of those where I feel you listen to it, you won't know what's going on the whole time. It'll just, yeah. This
Okay,
once
I'll
again,
see if I can pick it up.
Yeah.
I recognise this beat.
What was that?
I recognise this beat.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
I'm pretty sure this was one of the ones I showed you, but you didn't pick this one.
Oh yeah.
Right. I'm yeah.
So I think that was, again, it was one of those ones where you've got a very solid song. You know, lyrics are good, tone is good, everything seems to be, you know, all going in a very solid direction. You know what you want to do with it. But the vocals did seem a little bit muffled.
Yeah. I think I can't remember if because I know I remember sometimes I record on, well, if if it was one of the days where the pollen levels were high, that would explain everything. Because I get really bad hay fever.
See, I don't think it was you yourself, because I could still kind of hear you beneath it. I think it was something that you'd done after the fact, maybe something to do, maybe you just had like the lower mids boosted too much or something, or like the somewhere in the lower registers, or you might have had you might have added an effect on at some point, but I could still hear you underneath everything.
Yeah.
So that's
yeah.
But the end product of your vocals came out a little bit muffled, or quite muffled.
Yeah.
But that is the only bad thing I'd say about that one. Everything else, like I said, lyrics, tone, flow, all went really well.
Yeah. See, Alex pointed out in this one that he said it sounds like I've done multiple takes of it. Which, as in, like, throughout the verses. Which, I admit, sometimes I have to.
Well, yeah, it's very, very rare that you'll make a song out of, one take.
Exactly. Like, every musician takes bits from multiple takes and slots them together. But, like, I can see some of the bits where some of the clues that you might have picked up on. But other than that, he's obviously got very fucking good ears to be able to spot that.
I mean, I didn't think that any of it sounded disjointed and a hello voice. I didn't think that any of it sounded disjointed enough to be like very obviously different takes.
Yeah.
It all sounded like it flowed well together, and like you'd chosen takes that sounded similar. So
yeah,
sounded fine to me on that front.
Right. This next one, I'm pretty sure is the garage one.
Alright. So,
now,
quickly, just before you start that, just a heads up, I will have to you in about half an hour.
Okay, we'll get through these last ones quick then.
We can always finish off another day. We could finish this off tomorrow if you like.
Yeah, that should be alright.
We'll get through the rest of the songs, and then anything else you want to do, we might have to do tomorrow.
Yeah. Right, I'll just start this one. Right.
I think the second half was quite a bit stronger than the first.
Yeah.
The first half, I was getting quite worried where it was going, because it didn't sound quite right. It was quite repetitive, but not in a way that made it sound like a kind of like a beat anthem or whatever. Like it almost sounded like you didn't know what to say. But as it goes on, you sort of get to the second half, and then you start, going into it, and it all comes together.
Yeah. To be fair, the main concept in this one was almost confusion. So I'm not sure if I'm guessing it worked.
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Confusion, but then affirmed by the feeling that, or the knowledge that you do actually know what you're doing, and you're not just not just rambling. But no, yeah, it comes together around the halfway point, and you start to see where you're going with it, and then the last half is solid.
Yeah. Right. This next one's the garage song. So, this is the one where I sampled everything that's in it, and this was the instrumental I sent you with the verse on. So this is, well, I don't know if it can be called garage because the flows I'm using are the definition of grime,
Right.
and I've used some legendary grime flows that people probably haven't heard in years.
Well, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Right.
I think it might have been worth doing a few more takes just to get it a little bit, kind of. Oh, what's the word? Not cleaner. I suppose cleaner. I can't remember the word now. But just maybe like a few more takes just to try and just get it to flow a little bit better.
Yeah.
That was
See.
the thing that I kept coming back to. It all works. It's just I feel like the lyrics needed to be a little bit more precise, or the flow needed to be a little
Yeah.
bit more precise.
See, I made this one purely for the music video.
Right.
Now, I had a vision in my head that was gonna be like put with this one, and yeah, that is a common thing that quite a lot of people have said, but it will make sense, I think, when the music video for it drops,
Fair enough.
because it's sort of like 1 minute it's fast paced, 1 minute it's slow, and then although it's really fast in the first bit, then it gets faster, then it sort of the pace of it's all reflected within the music video. But obviously, as a standalone song, it can, like, without seeing the visuals for it, it can be quite confusing.
Mm-hmm. But no, if you've got if you've already got like a specific imagery in mind, then yeah, I suppose I have to just trust you and wait for it to come out as a full thing.
So that the video is actually in the planning process at the moment. So I guess that'll be something if you need any like spare camera practice, you could always help with the video.
I'm fully on board. I mean, you basically just have to say, "Hey Ben, I need you to do this for me," and I'm on it.
Yeah, it's like, honestly, the concept for it is like do you know, like in college we were taught to do like lots of planning.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that. I've just got a page of bullet points.
Yeah. I mean, I found it a lot
Yeah.
easier to do that. Just a few bullet points and maybe a couple of sketches for like specific things that I wanted. But
Yeah.
I mean, I found it a lot easier because when I was doing it, I was doing the planning and the shooting. So it was basically just, I wasn't having to tell somebody else what I wanted. I knew what I wanted. So I had no reason to do the stupid amount of planning that they wanted us to do.
Yeah.
But it's a lot easier doing it that way.
Yeah, right. So there's not a lot I can say about this last one.
Is this last one on the album?
There is the last one, but then what I'll do is I will play you number 4, but then I'll just find something to do.
Make a cup of tea or something.
Yeah. So I can't actually remember the content of the last one, which is bad of me to say in it.
As well.
But this either means, because as soon as I record something, it's out of the memory normally straight away, because I'm in the stage of mass production. So as soon as I finish one, I'm straight on to the next one. I have the project file still there, but I'm straight away on to the next one.
Fair enough.
So it's either that or it's a really old one, which means the clarity might not be the best, but the lyrical content will probably be the same.
Alright.
Right, I'll start it. Right.
I don't know. I feel like I wasn't a huge fan of the lyrics.
Yeah, I think if I'd have done it in the style, because this is another one that's based off another song. Well, I've sort of seen the format and was like, I quite like that format, and it's the type of beat that would suit it. And then I tried to attempt that same sort of format, but change a little, but change a lot of it. And then yeah, that was the result.
I mean, musically, it all came together really well. But yeah, it's just the lyrics I'm not a fan of on that one.
Yeah, it's like I'll get up the one. Actually, no, it's not that one, is it? I spelt Europe wrong anyway.
I'm really sorry if there's a load of background noise. Earlier, I decided it'd be a good time to stop drilling, and now someone's just gone in the shower.
It's fine. Oh, this is it. Yeah. So you can sort of see from that what I was going for.
I can see where it came from. I'm not a huge fan of the original either, so
Yeah. I have to say that I don't particularly like Young Ad's bit. It's more Notes' bit. So the the bit where he goes, "Don't tell lies because I know you won't." That bit. Yeah. So overall, what do you think?
Overall, I would say it is a solid album. It just needs a bit of polishing here and
Yeah.
I'd say my favourite off of there probably the first 2 songs.
Yeah.
From memory, anyway. When it comes out, I'll give it all a listen again. But yeah.
Yeah. So actually, I think I forgot to play that one. Right. What I'm gonna do is I will play this one to you, but
you're going to get as far away as you can.
yeah,
Right.
essentially, I'm gonna leave the headphones on my bed, and I'm just gonna sit on Instagram for a bit, or for the 4 minutes and 6 duration.
Fair enough.
Right. Good luck. That's all I have to say. Right.
Uh,
I'm guessing you see what I mean when I say it's probably the weakest out of
yeah, it's
all of them.
like perfectly fine. It's not really got anything going.
Yeah. See, normally at the stage that was recorded, I wouldn't even be thinking about fillers.
Mm.
But it just so happened that because Ellis picked out a Juice World beat,
Mm.
and I'm not like, don't get me wrong, his style of like the singing is all right, but it's like I'm more used to the UK style of doing it.
Yeah.
So then that I wanted to try and do it in his style as well, so that I was almost sort of honouring him in a way, but it just didn't like, I didn't quite gel with the style.
No, I mean that is pretty like cookie cutter, like filler material. Like
Yeah,
you put it in there as filler, nobody's gonna hate it, nobody's gonna love it. It's just there.
yeah. I think the bit that like there's one bit in that I really cringe while listening to every single time.
Oh.
Do you know where I overextend the word shit? And it
Not
carries
really,
on for
because
like
it was
3 seconds.
quite, you know, don't know if modulated is the right word. I don't know. Again, he had some sort of effect there that wasn't quite gelling with your voice very well.
Yeah, I think that's like, that was the time where I sort of started experimenting with EQs.
Mm.
So it might have been that I kept too much of a certain bit in and left one bit out.
Probably then.
Because I would definitely say that I suit the style I did for this, which was the sort of drill deep voice one.
Mm.
That's purely because I naturally do everything at a lowered voice. So anything that I do that I want to get reasonably high, I manually have to pitch it up anyway. So it's just a case of me trying to elevate my range so I can do the high bits, well, high to within a limit.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be breaking my vocal cords with trying to do things too high.
Yeah, you don't want
Yeah.
to. You don't want to hurt yourself, really. That's not really the goal.
Yeah.
But no, overall, I would say that is a pretty solid project.
Yeah, I would maybe, if I was to release a deluxe edition of it.
Oh god, sorry. Felt like I had something in my throat for a second there.
Yeah. It's fine. There was
There we go.
one episode where I had to cut out about, it must have been 50 coughs because either I think it was me and Alex, because we both suffered with quite bad hay fever.
Mm.
We were just coughing throughout the whole thing, even though like we didn't know what it was. Well, we knew afterwards because I looked at the news and it was extremely high pollen.
But it's still not a great look at them.
Nah, like I remember when like people first started going out. If you were coughing, the stares you would get.
Yeah.
Like, you would get stares like people think you were about to murder them. But no, you were just coughing.
I haven't heard, like while I was working last night, I haven't heard a single person cough.
Yeah, they won't.
Yeah. People are just avoiding it at all costs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to pop in at some point.
No,
Obviously, the place name in the edit will be removed, but
I'm
yeah.
not too bothered. But yeah, no, White Ball. I think a lot of people went other places because it's not as like the social distancing isn't as strict in other places. But
I also think there's a boycott of Wetherspoons going on at the moment
what for?
because didn't they fire a load of people and then hire them again?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Oh,
There was a little
I'm
bit of
pretty
confusion over whether or not we were allowed to like work somewhere else and keep on working at whatever pub we were working at, but no, it was all cleared up. I didn't really have to like worry about it too much because I didn't go out looking for another job. I stayed home while my parents worked so that my brothers didn't have to carry on going to school.
yeah.
But yeah, anyone that wasn't sure about that would have emailed manager or whoever and gotten a definitive answer anyway. So I think it was just when it first came out, there was a bit of confusion over it.
Yeah. That might have been what I heard then, because I knew there was something about people being fired and then hired back. It might have been if they did another job during the lockdown.
As far as I'm aware, nobody was fired. Anyone who did go to work elsewhere is still working at their pub.
Yeah.
So
Right.
anywho,
On that note, we have come to the end of the podcast.
and with only minor deviation.
Yeah. Thank you for appearing once again.
That's okay.
Hopefully at some point we can arrange a setup where like we can actually do it like in a room where it's not over a call. So then that'll be justification for me to like get the camera and like film it.
Yeah.
Because then it's slightly easier that way, isn't it? Rather than connecting two bits together. Yeah. Right. And on that note, I'll see all the viewers next time. Make sure to like and subscribe and follow and stream on all platforms.
Get on Spotify. Maybe buy the album if it's available to buy anywhere when it comes out.
Yeah, I'm not sure at this current time when it's gonna be out. It'll probably be out by the time this is out, maybe.
Maybe. We'll see.
Yeah. My distributors are really funny with how it all works, so yeah, I can't guarantee anything will be out, when I say it's going to be.
Mm.
Yeah.
Anywho, I'm off to the pub.
I might be too in a bit.